Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems with War video, I'm going to take a look in the Soulforge and tell you what I think is worth crafting in there this week. What's worth crafting and what you basically should avoid. Also going to take a look at this weekly glory troop and tell you what I think about that as well. Anyway, I bought a ceiling fan the other day. It was a complete waste of money. He just stands there applauding and saying, "Ooh, I love how smooth it is." Oh yeah, I know they're bad, that's the idea. Anyway, Spirit Tooth, let's take a look. Anyway, always get these to Mythic level if you can. This is going to give you another troop to max out on level 20, which is going to aid your power level kingdoms. But it does magic-based damage to an enemy, then creates 3 Spirit Gems. The spell is a little bit weak for me. It's an okay amount of damage for this level of troop, I suppose, but those 3 Spirit Gems could easily set up the opponent as well as do any good for yourself. If the board is absolutely smothered in blue, it's worth a cast. The likelihood is it's going to work out for you, but other than that, if there's just a normal amount of blue, 8, 9, 10, there's a high chance they're just going to set up the opposition, and they're going to be draining your mana with those Spirit Gems rather than the other way around. Traits: gain 1 magic when an ally casts a spell. That's actually not bad in the looping team. That will actually put the damage up slowly but surely. Deal double skull damage versus red enemies. Is okay, and is immune to mana burn, mana drain, and mana steal. But super average, 5 out of 10 for you, Spirit Tooth. Alright, let's take a look in these Soulforge now, and we'll start with the weapons. Staff of the Wild. Removes all brown gems with no effect. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by the gems removed, and if the enemy is from Wild Plains or the battle is in Wild Plains, deal double damage. These are the kind of weapons I call the anti-Wild Plains weapons in a way. They take away one of the colours the enemy likes to use the most, which is brown in this case, and you get that double damage. So if all those things apply, this can be a decent weapon, but it is very situational for that very situation. Let's take a look at the next one. It's not going to go over all the ones that are here all the time. Rage Reaver. Mentioned this in my spoiler video. Certainly a very good weapon and virtually essential. Deals magic-based damage, splash damage to an enemy, then creates 4 red gems boosted by Tauros allies. Now, what's cool about this is you can use this with 3 times ferocity, and they're one of the Guardian troops that gets that +4 to all skills. And basically with 3 ferocities in the team, when you get 4 matches, that becomes +12 to all skills. So it goes absolutely nuts. And because this only creates red, that makes them sort of teams absolutely insane. So really, really good. Fantastic weapon for that. It's worth getting just for that team alone. It's a lot of fun to use. So Rage Reaver, absolutely essential this week. Absolutely superb. Primal Axe. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by Wild Plains allies, then create a mix of 6 green and red gems for each Wild Plains allies. This uses brown and yellow, so it can't generate mana for itself. So you do have to make sure that the rest of your team does have a mix of green and red allies to make the most out of this, and then it actually works pretty well. Doomed Maul. Deals magic-based heavy splash damage to an enemy, +4 per tempering level, stun all red enemies, cleanse all red allies, explode 4 gems. If the enemy has a doom, explode 3 more. Now the thing is with these weapons, they are primarily used for guild wars, but the cool thing about them is you can use them on attack day. So if it's red day and you're going to create a red team, you can use it that way because as a cleanse, because it will do that damage and cleanse your team. But you can also use it as, say, in a defense team as well, because you'll stun all red enemies. So on red day, using this as a defense team or in a defense team, you can actually use it and get a stun on the opposing enemies if that will weaken them sufficiently. So it's okay though. It's still not one of the essential ones. I still prefer the ones that do the damage to all and then create a load of skulls or change a certain colour to doom skulls, things like that. They're the best doomed weapons, but these are not too bad. They're not actually entirely rubbish. They're okay. Horn Cleaver. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by Tauros allies, then creates a mix of 6 green and brown gems for each Tauros ally. So similar to the other one, This uses red and blue, but creates green and brown, so you have to make sure the rest of your team uses those colours to actually benefit from that mana gen. But yeah, not too bad, but very situational. And again, if your team does fulfill those requirements, then they can be really, really good. Wild Cleaver. Do like these weapons. Explodes magic +1 green gems, grants a random status effect to all Wild Plains allies, and has a summon at the same time. So a lot of mana gen status effects which can't be ignored. That is a very powerful thing when used properly, and a summon at the same time. Very nice indeed. Do like it. Is that it? Yes, it is. Right, onto the troops. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Hattai and Scroll. Convert all green gems to lycanthropy gems and all yellow to doom skulls, and summon a winter wolf or warg. Now, the cool thing about this troop is there's an okay set of traits at the same time. Impervious is really nice, and give 1 attack and magic to all beast allies when my turn begins is basically every single round, and it can make a difference in a bit of a slog type battle, but used with certain other troops, this is actually a really powerful spell. So I may show that later on. Flame of Anu. Deals magic-based damage to the first 2 enemies, boosted by burning and fairy-fired enemies. So for a mythic, that is a low amount of damage unless boosted. It does have a chance to boost it itself because its traits help that. That third one, Flaming Mane. Burn and Fairify a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems is okay, but it still doesn't boost it significantly. It's like, I know Fairify is good, it adds 50% of extra damage, but that is what is relying on just to make the damage decent. And yeah, much rather have a just troop that done decent damage in the first place rather than having to sort of work at it. Enraged Kurandara is here all the time. Zilla Plochli. One of these weird troops that's got a bit of a weird spell and even weirder traits. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by purple gems. If there's a storm, deal double damage, and if the enemy dies, create 12 skulls. So there's a lot of things have to be going on there to get the most out of that. So the damage is stupidly low for a mythic at first, on the basic level. It has to be boosted by purple gems. If there's, it's a 1-to-1 ratio, so if there was 10 purple on the board, you're going to get an extra 10 from that. If there's a storm, deal double damage. So there has to be a storm to make this half decent damage. Then you have to make sure you cast on a specific enemy to make sure they die to create 12 skulls, which could well set up the opposition as well. So, bit of a strange spell, not the best. Inflict death mark when doing skull damage. Immune to poison, disease, lycanthropy, and death mark. The first 2 traits, and the last one, deal 12 damage to a random enemy when matching yellow gems, which again sort of goes against what it does because it doesn't use yellow itself. So an all-around very odd troop is Zilla Plochli. Tina 9000, this is more like it. Absolutely mental and supremely good troop. Deal magic-based damage between that range there, like it's magic plus a few, doubled. That's the range. Deal that amount of true damage to 3 random enemies, and then gain the same amount of armor, but on the high end of that random scale. So, load of armor gain and the potential to do an absolutely extreme amount of true damage and can just take out troops one after the other. Really, really powerful, and I love the traits as well. Gain 2 armor on 4 or 5 gem matches. Reduce damage from spells by 50% is pretty huge. And add 50% of armor to skull damage. So absolutely superb. Tina, really, really good. I love it. The only thing that can go wrong on that is when she decides to hit at the lower end of the scale. And it's like, or sometimes that random hitting of the enemies doesn't actually take out the one that you wanted. There was like a Zul'Goth in the middle or something like that, and she just fires all around it and then just avoids Zul'Goth or something. It's like, you silly moo, hit the thing I wanted you to do. But it doesn't happen that often. Most of the time she does a good job. Alright, now let's take a quick look at these. Oh, that's good that that's there. These legendaries. Don't normally recommend crafting legendaries unless there's somebody absolutely fantastic here. Like one of the legendaries that is basically a mythic, like a Yao Guai, something like that. But let's take a quick look. The Flesh Horror eliminates all armor from an enemy, which is good because that's no matter what the armor amount. That is just bang gone in one go. Really cool. Then deal magic +2 damage to them and all the enemies below them. So try and cast this on the higher enemy as possible to get the most out of that. Not too bad. Now the Weird Stag. This is quite cool this is here because we mentioned this troop earlier. I said it works in certain teams really well. Converts all green gems to lycanthropy gems and all yellow to doom skulls. So it's one thing to remember here is convert all green to lycanthropy. So you can get damage out of that yellow to doom skulls as well, but all green to lycanthropy. This works fantastically well with the Weird Stag because the Weird Stag then deals true damage to the first and last enemies, then creates 3 doom skulls for each lycanthropy gem on the board. I may show these as a pairing later on in the week how well this works. It is a really fun team to use. Do you like the Weird Stag? No, that's one of the boss ones. Gloomleaf. Steals magic-based armor and 5 attack from all enemies. Now it sounds good because when you steal armor from all the enemies, you take it from them and you add it to your own, which is good. But the stealing 5 attack is a set amount. That is just a low amount, which is not going to change. And the only thing is with Gloomleaf is it's a good troop. I do like the traits. Immune to all status effects, Devour, Lycanthropy and Mana Burn is good. And Reflect 50% of skull damage can actually be lethal. You can actually kill yourself when attacking a Gloomleaf, which is quite funny. But in fact, it is a bit of a one spell wonder in a way. Quite often when you've cast this, the enemies won't have any armor left, or maybe you can cast it twice if you're at a high level. But after that, it's not a lot of good because it's not going to steal any more armor if it's already gone. And then that 5 attack from all enemies is actually a very low amount when it comes to the powerful teams and stuff like that. So yeah, good, but not great. Carnix creates 5 skulls, then explodes 10 skulls and gains a large amount of armor. So the good thing about this kind of troop is it creates those 5 skulls first, so you can get some skull damage from that. But if they fail to align or miss, you effectively don't set up your position because then it explodes 10 skulls, which is most likely to take out those skulls and then do some more damage to the enemy while gaining some armor. So not too bad at all. So who is going to be my Mythic of the Week? Well, it certainly can't be Flame of Anu. It's just not enough damage. That Titan Scroll is good, but yeah, a little bit situational to get the most out of it. And Zilla Prochny is just a little bit too weird. So it has to go to Tina. Fantastic true damage, armor gain, a lot going for it, and can get a 50% start as well in Mechanist class, making it even more damaging. So Tina 9000, my Mythic of the Week. I'll be back later on with my World Event team. Be sure to check that out a bit later on. But if you enjoyed this video and you've not done so already, be sure to think about bashing that like and subscribe button because it really does help. But thanks for watching and I'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.